Welcome back to this bat channel. I have been loading on the Hollywood Gun Shop turret tool using the Hollywood Precision Micrometer powder dispenser. Old stuff. If you've been poking around online, you see that picture of Andy Griffith sitting at a table loading with something that looks just like that. Pretty cool. I also have the Redding oil dampened scale that is set up here, and I'm loading because I have my memory retention system. I don't do these all in one day. I come back, and then during the day I actually do work. I don't sit around making ammo and videos all day long, although that would be really cool. My memory retention system. So when I come back the next day, I double check all of my settings and I make sure I'm still where I wanted to be. Now, the whole point of what I'm changing up today from the last episode is I have in my hand here, this is from RCBS. It's what they call their Match Master seating die. And you notice it's got this window in the front there. Now, the first I became aware of dies that had this, and I hope I'm remembering this right. I believe it was a company called Vickerman, and they were doing a seating die that had a window like this in it. And the first time I saw that, I didn't, well, I was younger then too, but it just like, who cares? Well, let me tell you why. I'm beginning to appreciate some stuff more and more so. For example, a fella comes in here a couple of days ago and he's loading 17 Fireball. Now that is a little tiny projectile. And let's say that you're a fella who's got big meaty paws, and maybe you've got arthritis, maybe you got carpal, you got stuff going on, right? Where sometimes it can be a little bit tough to hold something really tiny. That manual dexterity thing just isn't working as well anymore. So rather than trying to get like some forceps and do this and clamp it and drop it on top, and get something like this that's got a window in it. Now these have been around with a number of different companies for a long time. I've got some Weatherby Magnum with Weatherby brand on the box, dies that have a window like this. They don't have the micrometer on top. They have a regular seating stem like you see here. This one happens to be the Frankfurt Arsenal. And I've been selling these for a long time, and frankly, I've just never bothered to play with one, although I get the idea. So like, if you've got issues going on, it's so much easier just to take a projectile like this and you drop it into the sleeve. Now you're going to prime a case, put some powder in there, run it up into there, and you're going to seat it that way. So let's just do that right now. I'm going to do a quick deburr on the bottom, cut a chamfer on the primer pocket, just because when I seat the primer, I want it to slip past that square lip a little bit easier than it might otherwise. Drop a primer in here and point this away from my face, give it a little squeeze, back it off, turn it, do it again, just to make sure that it got seated well below flush. Set that on my table, and it's not jumping all over the place, so it's seated below flush. If I wanted to check how much below flush, I can grab my caliper and use the depth gauge on that to check it if I don't need to. Now here, I have been loading using this old school funnel. So this was actually longer at one time, but it's on a little bit of a taper and it's been cut off. Now this fits beautifully over the neck of a 30-06 casing, but I also have here in the shop these aluminum funnels that are made by Saturn, and they have fittings at the bottom that are going to be caliber specific. Aluminum, again, is not going to attract static electricity. Brass has got some excellent properties for it as well, but they do the universal design. Now this one happens to be a 30 to 50 cal. Now the thought being, when you have something like this, and I have had other guys tell me they don't like some of these where the fit on top is a little bit loose because it doesn't sit precisely, and the other ones will have a very precise fit and it stays put exactly like that. For me personally, that is not the issue. I can hold this like this, put my finger down below, and I can hold it. Now, to me, that's not a problem. What is a problem is a funnel when I dump the powder in there, spills. And I don't want to see even one little granule of powder go outside the mouth of this casing. So I have a powder charge sitting in my Redding oil dampened scale, ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it over the surface here, and I'm going to dump this in. And with an extruded powder, when I lift this away, if all of it did not go into there, I'm going to see it drop right here. So I lift this up, not a single kernel. Now that to me is the criteria. All of the powder went in here, and at the end of my session when I'm done reloading, I don't have a bunch of powder to clean up because it spilled because of the funnel. The funnel in my mind gets the powder into the casing, and whether it's a snug fit or a sloppy fit, I don't care. You get the idea. So here, now you saw me drop 168 grain moly coated AMAX into there. I'm going to run it up, drop it down a little bit, give it a quarter turn, run it up again, because that's going to help my concentricity. And there I have something that looks absolutely spectacular and will shoot even better. And it looks sort of similar to what I see right there. Now, the reason I have that there is to remind myself, I wanted to tell you, because I have mentioned with a couple other things that I have had in the shop over the years, a guy with an idea who executes that idea and just gets it out there. He's not just sitting around talking about it. So this goes back quite a ways. I had a Facebook page for the shop, and with the lead up to the last election, there were people with a different point of view who had the ability to shut down those who said things or posted things that were politically opposing to what the narrative happened to be. We call that censorship. Well, guess what? I was one of the people that had my Facebook page shut down. They just didn't like me. But I bring that up only because I was on Facebook and I was interacting, connecting with other people there who did have Facebook pages. I ran into this guy. His name is Tony, and he has this company. Now, he may still be selling stuff on Facebook. I don't know. This morning, I grabbed my phone, and when I clicked the link, when I just Googled, ballistic concepts, it took me to Etsy, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff listed. But, I've got all these displays around the shop, and this is like a guy with a really cool idea. And I've got probably 10 or 12 of these things around. If you wanted to get some, if you know a gun person, it's like their birthday's coming up or something, buy something from Tony. He's a guy with a smart idea. This isn't some huge company, but it's just supporting somebody who's making a really cool contribution to the cause. And I just have nothing but admiration for people like that. This is a gratuitous mugshot for Acura Bullets, a company in Idaho, Nampa, that makes really good bullets. Happy trails.